Hey, Pablo. Hey, Vicente.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody. Let's wait a few minutes until folks join.
Okay.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hey, Vicente. Hey, Pop. Hey, Pop.
Fred, what's up? Welcome back.
Thank you.
What's up, Vicente? Pablo, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you all?
Good. Gonna go on mute so our esteemed MC can run this meeting.
Thanks, Pop. We'll just wait a few minutes until more folks join and get started. Hi, Thomas. And while we're here, let me just post the HackMD link here in the chat. Will please add your names to the attendance list so we can keep track of it. Hi, Zolt.
Hi there.
Hello.
Just a sec. I'm trying to switch my camera on. Hey.
Hey. Welcome. I think we should at least wait for Carlos, right? Yeah.
If you aren't speaking, if you can go on mute as well, that'd be useful. Thank you. Fred, if you want to maybe send a note to the channel as well, saying that we started the meeting, that'd be good.
Yeah. I'll do that. I don't see Carlos online, so I was going to ping him, but
I just messaged him. He's trying to join now.
okay, cool.
I think we can get started. His is like the third
Yeah.
line item anyway.
All right. So yeah, before we started, this call is being recorded and we are a CNSF project. So therefore we abide to the conduct. Oh, hi, Carlos. And please be nice to one another. And yeah, so I think we're gonna get started. Today we have a pretty packed agenda. I'm very excited. There's some surprises here, so I was curious to know about those surprises. And the first item on our agenda, we have here Falco Talon, who is the owner of this item. Thomas, so I'll hand it over
It's
to
my
you.
part.
Yeah.
Just can I show my screen? You have to give me the right to do so. Tell me if you can see my screen right now.
Mhm.
Okay, it's okay. So, as you know, in the last months, the community has created has written some blog posts about how to create response engine to manage threats in your Kubernetes clusters. This is done with Falco plus Falco Sidekick and function as a service like Kubeless, OpenFast, Argo, Tecton, etc. This is really powerful and limitless. We can do almost anything with that, but we have some drawbacks with that kind of systems. For example, it could be hard for people to install and manage by themselves a fast system inside a Kubernetes cluster or outside. You have to write your own code, your own application to deal with the event format for the event of Falco, to deal with the authentication to Kubernetes API or extra stuff. You have to manage by your own logs, etc., etc. And it's a little bit harder to share what you do as a response engine with the community, because you have to share a GitLab or a GitHub or GitLab repository, etc. And it can be a little bit annoying for people to have to deal with everything. So in the last week, I work on an idea we got with Pop for months now. The idea is Falco Talon. Talon because we can kick some asses with that. But the idea is to replace all these extra stuff, all these functional system with a single system which is no code and no brainer for people to react to events. I will show you a little demo. I think you will see how it works and what we can do for that. So firstly, everything you will set are really basic rules. You just have to set, okay, we have this event from Falco. I want to match events with this priority or with a priority above this level, this threshold, or below this threshold, or end with these labels and these output fields, this rule, etc. So you have just to write some really easy rules to match events and after react to these events. For now, we have only two possible actions for reactions. So first one is terminate. For example, if in that case, if the event has been triggered by the rule test terminate, it could be a terminal in a shell compare, for example. You terminate the pod. That's it. And for this rule, if the priority is below, it is less than critical, you add the label to your pod. I will show you both. Does it make sense for people until now?
Can I add some context here? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so when we first started like a year ago, I asked a ton of security folks, and I was like, and also people in the community, I was like, what are the things that you like about Falco and what do you don't like? And the don't like was, hey, this thing just tells me what's going on. It doesn't respond to what's going on. Now, the commercial product that Sysdig has a lot of bells and whistles for doing that, but there still is a base level of response to if a rule is violated. Because again, we do such a tremendous job of having these rules that are inset that'll show all of these things. And so when Thomas and I were talking about this in terms of the response engine and all of the folks that were, integrating this with various projects like Knative and OpenFOSS and all that fun stuff, but it was like, this is something that's like, we needed like a rudimentary, not even rudimentary, just a basic little foundational capability. And that's where I think Talon came into play. And so what he's demonstrating now, and I'll hand it back to him, is basically, again, not just the detection, but that action on top of it that we need, for folks to be like, okay, I can at least use this for base level capabilities. And if I need a lot more capabilities. There's other, tools, obviously, Sysdig being one of them that can help there. So back over to you, Mr. Thomas.
Sure. So this is an example with a really dummy pod called test. It's really basic. I will trigger. Imagine this event is from Falco. We have the classic format for Falco event with an input, a priority, the rule, some label, some output fields, etc., etc. So I will imagine this come from Falco. So we match this rule, and the action is labeled for the pod test in the namespace default. The status is success, and as you can see, we have this label, this label, this label, which has been added to your pod, and this one, as you can see, the value is empty. I just removed it from the pod, so we can add, modify, and remove labels from a pod with a really basic rule. And if the event is more critical, for example, with a priority, the rule is this, but we have a critical or emergency or anything else level for the event. The pod has disappeared. It has been terminated in less than 1 second. We can set up a grace period to keep the pod for, I don't know, 10 seconds, for example, if you need to wait until all connections are shutting down correctly. But this is the idea.
Think about this from an attacker perspective. What happens? This person goes in, does something nefarious, stopped. Does something nefarious, stopped. They have to go another route.
Exactly.
We have rules for all of these things, right? And so that's the whole beauty of it. Even if the pod respawns, obviously, which is the capability, it's just the built-in capability of Kubernetes, right? It completely befuddles the attacker, because every single time within a minute, it's going to do this function. Again, you can depend on other things, but this rudimentary, I keep on saying rudimentary because it's not. There's a lot of work that you put in, Thomas, but I'm saying this base level kind of response we don't have. And so having this part of the tool, I think, puts us to a level that we've never been. And then opening up this architecture for somebody to do additional responses. Like what happens 9 times out of 10, what I hear is something that they want to have happen is maybe have a mem dump of the container should somebody have an attack of some sort. So exactly what the vector is. Think about, our fun SolarWinds attack. What happened there? Somebody dropped that into the payload of some type of supply chain, and then it was running in real time for months, doing anomalous behavior, going out and connecting and grabbing payloads, connecting to external networks. Now we have rules already built in there that are there. It's just responding to those things. So every single time that attacker sees something goes on, we can kill the pod, or we can do another action, a notification or whatever it might be. So to me, this is taking Falco to the next level.
And just curious, Thomas. Yeah, just curious about the rules YAML that you have here. So you made some changes, right, to the grammar, as I can see here. Like there's a match keyword. Are those
these
new?
rules are not Falco rules?
Oh, those are not Falco rules. So those will be Talon rules. I see.
Exactly.
So it's a new grammar. I see. Cool.
Yeah, a way to match events and trigger an action to them.
What about triggering a Wireshark scan? I mean, there's so many things that could be done here. It's or a WASA thing, or compliance benchmark, or I don't know, Pablo. Can you have any? What do you think here?
Yeah, Thomas. The first thing I think about when you share this is why cannot we trigger a Sysdig open source capture with this?
Yes.
If we detect some, that would be great.
This is my next step. For now, it's really a proof of concept,
Awesome.
a beta.
Awesome.
The program is running directly in local. It's not deployed in Kubernetes. I have to share with you some Helm chart or YAML to deploy it into a Kubernetes cluster. I want to add Sysdig as action. I want to add some notifications to Slack, for example. I deleted this pod because I matched this rule. This is just a bit, not even a beta, it's a delta or epsilon if you want, because it's really the beginning of the idea. I wanted to to test the rule syntax and the actions in Kubernetes.
Now think about, I'm also thinking about this at hyperscalers, or thinking about even for low level folks that like folks that want to integrate their solutions here. They can basically, again, tap into the Talon framework to do anything. So I look at this like, I don't know, if Azure wants to run, some of their, capabilities here. To me, it's just tapping into whatever, APIs that they have from the cloud side. On the AWS side, think about this, tapping into, this is a natural pathway for somebody to tap into, Lambda functions or those types of things. I mean, it's pretty friggin' limitless, I think.
For Lambda functions, we can already use Falco Psychic directly. But if you want to match only some events, it's better to use Talon, because with the rule engine, you can pick which event you have to react.
Yeah. Guys, there's an Israeli company called Torque.io. They just raised another, I don't know, 50 mil, 60 mil, whatever, Series B. They
do security automation, right? So I've heard of them. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. So I'm just trying to point out that you can get some ideas from them, which in terms of what kind of actions are making sense. So like probably like Slack notification is very basic, but as Dan said, like killing pods or these, I don't know, connecting with less. So starting with something with like Lambda and this stuff would make much more sense. But I mean, they spent probably thousands of engineering hours of figuring out what, and also talking to customers, what would make sense and what's not making sense.
What I would do is invite them to take a look at this framework to tap into, like, again, Torque to me is a security automation tool. It's kind of like, I hate to use this, but remember back in the day, there was something called BizTalk, and you could automate like, the framework from this taps into this does this does that. To me, Talon is a function that they could tap into. So if you know anybody from there and you want them to, that's the whole beauty of open source. They could, tap into Falco functions as a way to tap into, just like they do with some of the, like, I know they're doing stuff with NS1, for instance, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I'm very familiar with them. But like I said, to me, that's an overarching framework for automation that Falco and Falco Talon is kind of a conduit that they could use to do some of the runtime protection and all that. So good call. And if we ever, again, if you know of anybody over there, like, this could be a natural way for them to, have integration here.
Yeah, I used to work with the CEO and the CTO, two companies before. So I think the latest one was TechPulse, which they sold, and one company before. So I might know. I mean, I'll drop them a message about, this Talon exists and, how to.
Just, I mean, Falco in general, you know what I mean? Like any of these companies that, you know what I mean? Because I don't know like what, tooling that you're using on that side. So.
Yeah, then I had a discussion with the Sumed, and also Loris about this. The problem is that they are super, how should I say, connected to Viz, and they're not talking to anybody who's kind of a Viz competitor, if that means.
Falco is a CNCF project, right? So it
is
not a competitor of that. So I think we could probably move on at this point.
Yeah,
I get where you're coming with it.
Okay.
Yeah,
maybe not them, but the engineers who are working there would be quite interesting.
Understood. I think that we have another question here. I'm sorry, Fred, I'm stealing your thunder, but I'll you.
Oh, yeah, sorry, it's me again, Thomas. I'm wondering about performance. Is this going to be faster, for example, that the integration between Falco Psychic, and OpenFast?
It's much quicker because you don't have to start a new pod and run the function like we have with Kubeless, OpenFast, or else.
Exactly.
So this is much quicker.
Awesome. But thank you.
I don't know I didn't do some load test for now because it's just, but it's quicker because, as you can see, it's immediate. The Talon reacts directly. by
Okay,
calling
so
the
thank you.
Kubernetes API.
Seems like a socket call versus having to tap into those various other external services APIs to be able to do those things. It's like a direct hit, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, no, it makes to me it's more efficient. I mean, but again, what the beauty of Sidekick is, if you decide those are the integrations that you have that. But also,
Mhm.
like I'm assuming that we'll end up like having the talent framework so somebody can tap into whatever they need to from a terminate actions perspective. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and just to follow up again, Thomas, architecturally, is this tapping into the events in Sidekick or directly from Falco, or it's not using libs because you're using the Falco messages. So where does this
Both works, because it takes the JSON input from Falco directly or from Falco Sidekick. If you have to add some custom fields before sending them to Talon, you use Sidekick, but you can.
So this could be based on events triggered by Falco directly, right?
Yes.
I see. Mm-hmm.
And maybe in future, I will add a direct connection to Falco through gRPC, because
Right,
think it uses HTTP mode.
Yeah,
but,
I was looking. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's a little bit more complicated because Talon has to know all Falco which are running in your cluster to create a client to connect to them. And for now, we don't have any library, any kind of system which is able to do so. This is why I didn't integrate gRPC in Sidekick right now, because for now, I don't know how to know at each moment where are all Falco. In future, I think we can do the reverse. It's Falco which connect to Sidekick. And
Exactly.
In that kind of pattern, it will be easier because we have. It could be easier. I don't know how it works. But,
yeah, Sidekick would act as the server, right? So
yes,
that would, yeah.
With a service in Kubernetes to load balance the connections, I think.
Very cool. And you envision using this as a pipeline, right? So basically, you can add as a pluggable element to your deployment of Falco, right?
Yeah,
so,
I hope so.
Yeah, cool.
I hope to be able to integrate a framework system like said to add any kind of actions. Maybe it's over my skills. I don't want to lie. I'm not a developer at the beginning, so I learned with Falco Sidekick, but my repository is currently on my own account. It's private. I will open just a few minutes after this call and share with you the report to offer you the opportunity to look at it.
Very cool. Yeah, we will follow up. I mean, I'll follow up with you on this because in Sysflow, we just finished implementing also action handlers using our basically extended the Falco grammar, and we have basically asynchronous rules that are triggered from the Falco rules, right, that we support. And but our objective is a little complementary. We're doing more like enrichment on the message. So we're doing things like hash computations and things like that could be very useful downstream, right? So yeah, I'll follow up with you offline. Maybe we can, because we desperately need to consolidate, I think, some of the things we're doing in Sysflow back to Falco. That's our goal. And yeah, hopefully we don't have to redo some of the things you did. So yeah.
With pleasure, sure.
Yeah, we'll talk to you.
With pleasure.
Thomas, may I have a question as well? So
sure.
I'm not sure, like some of you know me already. So we are working, or actually we've already pushed a moving target defense framework that uses Falco as like a triggering mechanism or triggers for doing certain stuff, which is like killing pods, changing, relabeling certain stuff, and so on and so on. Not the notification part and whatever. So we are doing that for the paying customers, but functionally or let's say architecturally, how we are doing it is we're using a sidecar, it's like a simple sidecar, and obviously created a kind of an operator function around it as well. So I'm trying to kind of grasp that how can we combine this, or how can these two projects can be connected?
Sure.
if it
On my
makes sense.
personal side, I don't really love the idea of sidecars, because when you have one Falco per node plus one, for example, Psychic plus one Talon, plus you have to add a lot of pods in your cluster just for the simple task. But I see your point. We can discuss later about that.
To me, I feel like, and tell me if I'm wrong, I feel like any of these extension capabilities, right, to be able to like stop or do all these things, it could address a certain aspect. Like to me, it's not, you know, you can integrate some of these functions. To me, that it's also like having the most efficient way of doing it versus, you know, specific to a sidecar. I mean, that might have to be necessary for certain use cases, but for this one, that's just a simple, hey, kill, if, label, and all of that type of thing. I think those are the capabilities that, like, I don't think there's one, you know, specific thing. I think there's many can solve the thing here. And if we can combine them and make it, end of the day, what are we trying to do? We're trying to make runtime security easy for end users to grasp. If we have 15 different solutions that are like shades of gray, they're kind of doing each little aspect of us versus combining these efforts. So this is why we communicate in meetings every week to be able to define, here are the two things that we're trying to accomplish. And if we can combine the efforts, guess what? Everybody, the users will be happy at the end of the day. So maybe you all should sidebar on this, and this could be an amazing collaborative thing, or it could be like, hey, this thing does this specifically, this thing does this specifically, and let's go. Because everybody will be able to like tap into this.
Like that. I like that.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'll be able to share a repo with you guys probably. So with you, Thomas, later on. I mean, via Slack. And yeah, let's figure that out. But what I'm talking about is basically like 2% of what we are doing, basically. But if I can, but then correct me if I'm wrong. So I've been talking to a lot of end users of Falco as well, and also Viz and also Sysdig. They have they really need this capability because, as Dan put it, they want everything like super easy. So they are not as good as us in terms of Kubernetes, and especially Kubernetes security. Some of them even have issues with, I don't know, installing a service mesh or putting a service mesh on.
Well, service mesh in itself is not very conducive of end users like understanding it out of the box. So it makes complete sense. And again, if we look at this, I want to be very clear. Falco is a CNCF project, so anybody can use those Falco libs and utilize this. So regardless of whom we're talking to, as long as I care about the end users always, because I want them to have a favorable experience where they literally can click a button and have runtime security immediately. Because there's nothing out there that does what Falco does. So that should be our end goal, regardless if it's Aqua, if it's Wiz, if it's Laceworks, it doesn't matter to me. Anybody can use our libs.
Exactly. So my point is, they want easy solutions, easy to deploy solutions with. I don't know, like simple YAML files that they can edit.
How about a Helm chart? One run and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. So I'm sorry to keep on interrupting you.
No. That even makes much more sense. Yeah.
And for that, I forgot to mention, right now, the configuration for rules is made directly in a YAML file. But my goal is to create a CRD in Kubernetes and be able to add rules directly in Kubernetes as CRD, and Talon will watch them and reload configurations on the fly. So it will be easier for people to integrate new rules for Talon.
And yet another conduit for contribution, everybody. That's the whole beauty of this. Again, users can contribute and all there. Fred, I keep on bogarting your meeting, man. Back to you, buddy.
No, you're welcome. Yeah, and this is very exciting. Thanks for bringing this up, Thomas, and showing the demo. Yeah, I think it will be great. Yeah. So should we move to another topic, or we have more questions to Thomas? Or are you done, Thomas?
for Talon, but I have another
Oh,
news.
you have an Easter egg. Okay. so-
Yeah, this is not really an Easter egg. So I think
Okay.
most of people here are already aware of that, but I'm quitting my current position in France, and from January, I will work for SysDig.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
I will join the team, guys.
9
Really happy.
months I worked on getting this guy. 9 months straight. I sent him 4 cases of beer.
Yeah,
It worked. It worked apparently.
sure.
So we are so proud. And again, the reason, I'll give you the biggest reason again. We are so focused on the community and the Falco community. I mean, I want you all to know, everybody that's in this room and everybody that's in the channel has seen the success. We've 2x and 4x every major category. GitHub stars from 1,500 to 4,300 GitHub stars. Contributors, almost doubled the amount of contributors this year. Falco Sidekick went from 70,000 pulls all the way to almost 4 million pulls in a matter of 9 months. Falco itself literally went from 8 million Docker pulls at incubation to 31 million Docker pulls. I mean, this is not a single vendor. This is not a single person. This is the effort of a community. And I'm so proud to be part of this. And I'm so proud that again, this is what we want Thomas to literally be doing what he's doing, just more specific to the community. I mean, this guy was working on his after hours and all of this fun stuff. It's like, imagine what this guy can do full time. How crazy, right? So I'm really blessed again to work with everybody in this community. It's doing so much great fucking work. Love you all.
Thank you for the opportunity. Really.
Congratulations, Thomas. Yeah. Well, this is exciting. And to the next topic on our agenda, we have here again, I think it's Carlos, right, on the sign of the Falco Sidekick. So would you like to take over, Carlos?
Hey, hello everyone. This is an idea I was having like some weeks ago, and I don't know if you know Cosign, but Cosign is a tool to help and make it easy to sign not only containers but also binaries, blobs. And I'm integrating the Cosign in my own projects, and it's very smoothly to sign, at least have like my binaries and my containers signed. And I would like to, if everybody likes the idea, we start signing, let's say, Falco Sidekick for now, using Cosign as the first step for to have more secure supply chain. And then maybe after that, the next steps, maybe we start implementing Salsa level 1 for the release process of Sidekick. And eventually, if this goes well, we maybe propose to start signing the Falco itself and other projects in the Falco ecosystem as well.
Can we also talk about the fact that I think you've integrated as part of the Kubernetes, like the
Yes.
Salsa levels as part of the Kubernetes release, which, by the way, again, Carlos in his many hats is like one of the release that's on the release team for Kubernetes. So, I mean, this is in line with other projects. I think a lot of other projects will follow suit with signing. And again, I think it's become a de facto tool out there, which is Cosign. So great.
Yeah, we are doing this on the Kubernetes as well. We are creating a tool as well that maybe in a near future, let's say mid-term, we can use in other projects as well, the tool we are creating in Kubernetes. But the idea here is only sign the binaries and the image we are generating in Falco Sidekick with Cosign for now. And of course, pushing the logs and the signatures to the transparent log. That if everybody doesn't know, there's a project called SigStore, which holds the Cosign, and SigStore offers a transparent log that you can push your logs and people can validate against those logs as well. Then it makes it easy to consume and generate artifacts with signatures.
You would embed that into the CI pipeline, I guess, right?
Yeah, like in Falco Sidekick, we are already using Go Releaser to generate the release files and push to GitHub. And Go release also supports the signing as well, embedded in the configuration. For us, it's just a matter of like accepting that we're gonna sign and decide in which key we are gonna use. We're gonna generate a key, and then we're gonna share as the maintainers the password for that key, or we are gonna follow the keyless approach. Like I saw, like in Falco Sidekick, for example, we are using Circle CI for running the release, but Circle CI doesn't support the OIDC tokens right now, and GitHub Actions support those things. If we decide to use keyless approach, then we might move the release step job only for GitHub Actions, and then the other stays in Circle CI. If we decide to use a key, then we can continue using Circle CI and just add that key in the context that I already have for like holding the Docker credentials and other credentials.
We have been using GitHub Actions for our builds. It works wonderfully, and we use the tokens as well. So I'm happy.
The other approach is we also can generate a key in. I saw we are pushing the image for AWS ECR. We can, maybe can generate a key in AWS KMS and use that key as well.
And I did check; they have an action for cosign for GitHub.
Yeah,
so
I did that.
Oh, it was you.
I'm telling you, this guy don't sleep. He don't sleep. I don't know how much coffee you ingest.
Well, that's wonderful because I didn't know about cosign and something to include in our pipeline as well. Very cool.
Yeah, that's the nice part. If we use GitHub Actions, is that the actions are there, but also the Go release also is integrated with cosign as well. Go release just can just sign in like out of the box as well.
Yeah, before I guess for the Falco binaries and so on, it would use the action then, right?
If we decide to use to sign using the keyless approach, then I would recommend we use GitHub Actions for now.
Right.
Otherwise, if we decide to generate a key, like a public and private key, then we can continue using Circle CI.
Very cool.
If everybody agrees, I'm gonna maybe create an issue to describe everything, and then we can like make an RFC, or like if everybody agrees, I can start working on that.
So the idea is to incubating the cosign in Sidekick, and if it works well, then
maybe then we like starting pushing to the other projects as well.
Yeah,
I envision that many projects next year will be doing this in the CNCF just because it's becoming the de facto tool. Like I said, I've seen other projects even in utilizing it as well. So even commercial tools using it. So I would assume that that's going to be the case.
Yeah,
cool. Should we move to the next topic?
There is no questions about this one?
Yeah, sorry, Chris.
Okay, then the next topic is also me. We in the community, in the cloud native community as well, we have an initiative called the inclusive naming, which is there is a website and everything. And in Kubernetes itself, we are renaming the branches for all the repositories from master to main to become more inclusive, right? And I would like propose we start renaming as well the Falco GitHub organization, like all the branches that uses master to we replace to main. And
what's the reason again? What's the reason for the renaming?
That's to be more inclusive, and master means like in an old way, like some slavery and this.
The semantics. I see.
So there's a group actually that I think IBM was part of. Stephen Augustus was part of, and some of the CNCF to talk about inclusive naming and all of that. And so we've done a lot in terms of the docs and stuff like that. Do we know what the effort is, Carlos, to be able to do that renaming? Is it going to be because I think what we probably need to propose that within the core maintainers circle channel. That's first and foremost. That's a big change, right?
Yeah, it's a big change. It's not like a huge change. Maybe for Falco itself, it is like similar to Kubernetes. But like for Falco Sidekick and the other like medium small project is like maybe straightforward. It's just to check the jobs, the pro jobs and Circle CI jobs, if they are pointing to master, and accept that to. There's two stages. If they are pointing to master, we can also make pointing to main, make sure that everybody can handle master and main together, and then we rename. And then we just in the next step, just to remove master from the source code, and then that's it. And then the consumers when they try to pull, they GitHub sends an alert for like if you're trying to pull or push, and then you just change in your site. That is like in the Kubernetes we did like together with Aaron, which is from Google. We have an entire documentation about all this stuff. That's like pretty easy to consumers and to us to do the change.
Okay, in terms of next step, Carlos, I would say here, just mention this in the grand scheme, like in the maintainer circle channel, which you're part of, talking about the initial Sidekick and eventually moving the Falcos. I think again that's just want to make sure everyone is on board with that versus just anyone that's in specific.
Yeah, I just coming to this talk, just we have recorded as well that people can watch, but I'm gonna like talk in the channel as well.
Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you.
You're up again, I think.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Fred. I can't turn it off, man.
No problem. This is just
No
like
problem.
one quick announcement. I'm gonna post here the link. Thomas assigned me like I saw a issue from Thomas and some community contributors like us asking like to add another Linux platform to Falco Sidekick, and now we have both ARM64 and ARM v7 working for Falco Sidekick. I tested the Falco Sidekick in my Raspberry Pi cluster and works like a charm now. And
but Falco itself does not.
Yeah.
See, this is a thing though. We should probably merge this into what's the term we're using? I'm sorry, it's because I can't use we should use a main ticket, I guess, that has that merges ARM64 support in general, a umbrella ticket. You know what I mean?
If this is like if we can do this for Falco itself, like I'm happy to do that as well. This is just more an announcement that everybody can now. ARM64 is getting big attraction, and it's good to have this also for Falco Sidekick.
Cool.
Thank you.
Especially with the Graviton announcements, there's a ton at reInvent. So those instances. All right. Thank you, Carlos. I think I'm up right now. I have a vote here, just as a show of hands here in terms of, look, I mean, the holidays coming up. Do we have this be the last one of the year and reconvene in January? Because I think, especially with, Europe and all that fun stuff, I think we come back, we're refreshed. We've had our eggnog and whatever so I kind of was like, do we go ahead and vote to, not have any more meetings until January? So show of hands. Strong year for us. I think we deserve a break. So, all right. So it looks like the vote was yes. I vote yes. Unanimous. I spell that right. Okay. All right. The moment we've all been waiting for. Okay, in terms of the contributor of the month award, this person, is somebody who pretty much is probably the most, I think, one of the biggest core contributors of Falco. Without further ado, let me go ahead and share my screen here. This is no brainer here. I mean, again, in terms of infra, in terms of responding to all of those things, our contributor of the month for this month is Leonardo Di Donato. I mean, it was pretty unanimous. It was like, I think he got like 8 votes or something like that. So for September and October, because we're going to be doing November and December's in January. So big thank you to Leo, who's not here today, but yeah. I think that's
Oh,
our
that's
call.
awesome.
Fred, up to you. Back to you, Fred.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for the incredible meeting, for letting me MC this meeting. I was a little busy the last month in the baby making business, but I'm back. Yeah,
We sent him a Falco onesie. It did not arrive in time for him to show pictures for this meeting. So
well, yeah, in the channel, yeah, but yeah, we are very happy. We're blessed with the baby boy. So a month now, and I was just back from paternity leave. So yeah, so with that, without further ado, I'd like to wish everybody happy holidays. Enjoy the end of the year and come fresh for the new year that's to come.
Thanks, everyone.
Everybody, yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.